We welcome you inside Lee Amphitheater for Ivy League Volleyball on ESPN. Tonight, it's the two-time reigning Ivy League champion Yale Bulldogs taking on the Cornell Big Red. Alongside Madison Morey, I'm Justin Galanti. Thanks so much for being with us. And Madison, start of a full weekend here around the Ivy League. And this an interesting matchup. Yale's kind of doing what Yale always does. They're 8-3 and 3-0 in the Ivy League. But this is a resurgent start to the season for Cornell. 8 wins already and 2-1 in the Ancient Eight. And tonight it's an opportunity to see how they stack up with Yale.
Yeah, Cornell has been very fun to watch. Right now you see Cameron Carlo in the middle. She's 7th in NCAA blocks per set, obviously carrying a huge load for Cornell defensively. And on the Yale side, you have one big player who was named Ivy League Player of the Week last week, Peyton Bryan, career high 19 calls, hitting a 643.
So we're underway here in the opening set, and very quickly a violation on a ball handling error against Cornell. So Yale earns the first point of this match. Now for Cornell, obviously it's a big step up to play Yale from the teams they've played so far. They beat Columbia and Dartmouth in Ivy League play and then lost in 4 sets at Harvard last Saturday. And Yale, meanwhile, is 3-0. All 3 of their matches came on the road. Swept Brown and then beat Penn and Princeton in 4 last weekend. But Madison, this is only the 4th time all season Yale has been at home. So it has to be nice to be back in Lee Amphitheater as Carly Deal, the all-Ivy League setter, goes over on 2 and makes it 2-1.
It does have to be nice to be home. I mean, you have the big crowd. There's tons of people here. The energy is already extremely high and having a lot of fun already from Yale with these smart early plays and early dumps we're seeing by Deal. And not to mention the 27-match win streak at home.
Yale is 27 in a row at home, as you said. That's the 3rd longest active streak in the country. They've also won 23 matches in a row against Ivy League opponents. This is Eliza Konvicka, missing a little long for Cornell, but she is a big-time player, Madison. 2nd team All-Ivy League last year, led the league in kills and points.
Yeah, and right now she's sitting on 183 kills so far this season and already has 13 service aces on the season. So she's also carrying a big load for Cornell offensively.
Gigi Barr with an ace there for Yale. It's a 4-1 start for the Bulldogs here at home. Barr, the senior from Elmhurst, Illinois. Cornell goes into the block of Bryant. Now it's Deal for Bryant once again. Cornell is called in the net, so Yale's up 5-1, and this is probably not the start the Big Red wanted.
Not the start the Big Red wanted, but a little couple errors that we're seeing that you can just pick up right away and you just have to clean it up. And right now that's what we're getting from Cornell, and they just have to clean it up.
And now a rotation issue on Cornell, and it is 7-1. And Yale has grabbed this first set very quickly, at least a stranglehold on it. And Gigi Barr is on a 4-0 service run of her own. Right now, Trudy Vandenberg is talking with Tim Veloso, one of the referees, about what the issue was there. Trudy Vandenberg in her 9th season as the head coach at Cornell, 2017 Ivy League Coach of the Year. Where did the Big Red go to stop the run? This is out wide from Avery Adams, and Cornell needs a very early timeout here. Yale has won 8 of the first 9 points and has a big lead in the opening set here in New Haven. Cornell has some ball handling issues again, Madison, and Yale has won 9 of the first 10 points.
It's just the early errors we're seeing right now from Cornell. They could have a ton of energy coming into this match. It's a great environment, and right now we're just seeing these little mishaps that the team is having, and they just need to clean up and get back into the game.
You saw the series history there. This is the 80th all-time meeting between Yale and Cornell, a 53-26 advantage for Yale, but in recent times, Madison. Yale's won 10 in a row, 29 out of 30. Cornell has not won in this building since 2005. It's been almost 20 years. So not only are you playing against a great team, but you're playing against history as well if you're the Big Red.
You're playing against a great team and history, but you also have to come into the match with a moment saying, this is our time to take charge. This is our time to change that history, rewrite it, and disrupt the winning streak that you have. You've got to be the underdogs. And Cornell has a very good opportunity to do that, but they just need to clean up the volleyball game.
Konvicka is able to put this one down. The junior out of Houston, who is second in the Ivy League in kills per set and points per set so far this season. And this has been a nice response from the Big Red as it's now 9-4. They've won 3 points in a row. Yale tries to stop this run. Larice Abraham off the tip. She gets her first kill. How impressive has Larice Abraham been in her sophomore season? Hitting at .405, which is #1 in the Ivy League.
Right, and last match she also hit a 400, and most of the matches of her season, that's where her hitting percentage has been. And she has been fun to watch, being super aggressive, but also knowing when to be a smart middle blocker.
A point went to Yale, so it is 11-4. The funny thing about it is you say she hit 400 in the last match, which is awesome. Actually lowered her percentage for the season.
Yeah, it does, and that's what it does. You have these matches where you do hit as amazing as you always do, but it will affect that percentage overall.
Kill there for Cameron Carlo for Cornell, the senior out of Tampa, who, as Madison told you earlier, is #1 in the Ivy League in blocks per set this year. Deal sets it up for Abraham once again. And this Cornell defense that is quite vaunted coming into tonight has not quite made its presence felt yet in the first set. Opponents are hitting just 159 against the Big Red this year.
Yeah, and I really like what Cornell did there with the double block. They had a smart decision to double block Abraham in the middle, but Abraham read it very well and was able to turn that swing cross body and go zone 1, which there was an open split. But the attempt was there. They have to be better with their committing when Abraham is jumping and be able to get a better touch off of that.
Good hard serve from Konvicka. Yale handles it though. Isabella Mendoza was a bit out of rhythm. Cornell goes to the middle and Mackenzie Parsons' swing went right into the Yale block.
Parsons also carried a big role for Cornell in their last match. She had 18 kills, hitting a 500. Only being a freshman, that is extremely impressive of a role to carry on this team, but also execute nicely.
Kara Schultz puts this over for Yale. Another chance for Cornell. 3-point there for the Big Red for Jada Sione, the sophomore out of Chatsworth, California. We mentioned the hot start that Cornell is off to. They've already won 8 matches this year. They're 8-4. The last 3 years, their season total for wins were 7, 6, and 7. So they've already surpassed their win total from the last 3 years.
And that should give them a lot of confidence going into conference play, knowing this is a great start you've already had the last couple of years. Now you need to take the momentum from it and bring it into every match coming up.
13-8 the Yale lead in the first set. Remember, the Bulldogs won 9 of the first 10 points tonight. Jackie Baker serving for the Big Red. Deal sets it up for Betsy Goodnow. The sophomore puts it away. Goodnow with 158 kills this year coming in to lead Yale.
Goodnow has been a fun right side to watch. Lefty right sides are always great because they have such a repertoire of shots that they can use with the angles they're able to create. But that one seamlessly put straight down in between that block.
Haley Clark tried to go cross court. Aria Chu kept it up. It's off the tip, and Mackenzie Parsons, the freshman Poway, California has another kill. You know, last year as a senior in high school, I actually gave that point to Yale, but not surprisingly, this will be challenged by Trudy Vandenberg. I thought I clearly saw it go off the block. I'm not sure.
I thought I saw it go off the block as well. Yeah, that block clearly, when that replay comes, to me, it clearly got a touch off of the block and tipped the top of Yale's blocker's hands. But I guess we will see when.
Well, just to finish the point on Parsons, as you're looking the same thing the officials are. By the way, our referees tonight, Ronald Sparks and Tim Veloso. The line judges, Cassie Iverson and Tyrone Fuertes. Trying to see if there's a touch here from Mendoza. It looks like that ball does change direction, Madison.
It does, and that's what the refs are looking for right now. They, at this angle, they're looking for any finger on the hand that is going to move back or any deflection of the ball after it surpasses the blocker's hands. And I think in that play, on that swing, there is a little movement in Mendoza's finger and deflection.
So the call is going to be reversed, and Cornell gets the point.
You can see Mendoza clearly knew she had a touch on that, and she shakes her head going back. But it's all fun and games when you try to pretend that you didn't touch it.
With all the great replay review we have nowadays, there's no more lying to officials, really.
Right. You can try and lie and get away with as much as you can, but with the review getting so much better and technology now in every single match you see, it's just, you can't get away with it anymore.
Deal over on two again. Konvicka dug it out. Parsons again off the block. Good now, puts it away. Betsy Goodnow continues a good start to this match for Yale. 15-9 the lead.
Supposed to be fair,
But again on Parsons, last year as a senior in high school, Madison, at Poway High School in California, she led the entire state in kills with 587 for the season.
I mean, it's just impressive what type of level she's already brought to the collegiate level, coming in as a freshman, being able to carry this load, but also learn a different level and speed of game at the same time. And for her to be so confident and allow herself to grow, it's truly just so fun to watch.
Gigi Barr in the middle, one of those two outstanding middles that Erin Appleman has for Yale. She makes it 16-9. Erin Appleman now in her 21st season as the head coach here.
Gigi connected really well with Deal, knowing it went right over the block. I got to get a quick approach and get a nice swing on that ball.
Haley Clark. Haley Yarich got her hands to it. Clark again, right to Goodnow. Should be a good chance for Yale. Hayden Bryan, the reigning Ivy League Player of the Week, has a kill. Bryan was unreal last weekend against Penn and Princeton, Madison. She had 34 kills against only 3 errors and 2 Yale wins.
It's very clean volleyball you get from Bryan, and I give her credit because preseason weekend she had some opportunities. It wasn't as clean, but she's really focused on her game. She's really focused on keeping that third contact in the court and being able to handle that ball and keep her team in the rally.
Fortunate bounce there for Eliza Konvicka off the tape. And it's 17-10. Doa Ozalp, the junior from Istanbul, serving now. She is third in the Ivy League in assists per set, 9th in service aces per set. It's a very good serving Cornell team and a great blocking Cornell team.
And that's the block that we were talking about in the beginning. You can see the way that these two commit and close that seam last minute, allowing Cornell to get both hands on that ball and just put it straight down.
Big Red are top 16 in the country in blocks per set. Aria Ju for Goodnow. There is kill number 3 for Betsy Goodnow. Feels like the recipe for Cornell to pull an upset tonight, if they could, is to get their hands on as many Yale swings as possible.
It is, and in that rally, we saw them block 2 balls, and then that last kill got through the seam of the block. But Cornell, you can't just rely on your blocking. You also have to be able to get a good read behind the block, and that's right now what they need to find in order to make an upset tonight.
Yale, the 2-time reigning Ivy League regular season and tournament champions. They've won 5 out of the last 6 Ivy League titles. Under Aaron Appleman in 21 seasons, an 81.6% winning percentage against Ivy League opponents, a record of 230 and 52. So Rita Pomar, the sophomore, in for Cornell, and Megan Bickle to serve. Abraham in the middle. Cornell gets hands to that swing, sets up Konvicka, and Eliza Konvicka has her second kill. So basically the story so far is pretty even after the 9-1 start, but you make it hard on yourself when you're down 9-1 if you're Cornell.
Right, and everything right now is clicking for Yale. They are running a very clean but successful offense and causing a lot of chaos on Cornell's side. Also, those errors, it's difficult to rebound from those early errors, and that's what we're trying to see Cornell dig themselves out of right now.
We told you Cornell is number 1 in the Ivy League in opponent hitting percentage at 159. Yale's hitting 450 in the first set. Carly Deal misses just a little long. That's an error on the serve. Yale with 2 aces and now 4 service errors in the first set. Yale has not quite served at the level this year than it has the last couple of years. Still an effective part of the game for them, but not quite to the level of last year when they were 5th in the country in aces per set.
Yeah, and we've seen Yale do a good job of using their serve to get teams out of system and be able to set up a better defensive blocking system, knowing where that set is going to go with their difficult, tough serves. But you're right, we have not seen as many aces, but they still have been extremely productive in their tough serving.
Like Aaron Appleman is considering a challenge on that last call.
Well, I think what they thought, the ref thought that swing went down, but Aria Ju was saying it went off of her foot, and that's why they stopped the play, because they thought it hit the ground.
Right now, Tim Veloso has a bunch of players in white jerseys just staring at him.
Confused what this call is.
You have to give Cornell a lot of credit. They got down big right away, and they have stayed in this set. It felt like it might be a quick runaway, and it hasn't. They're within 5 right now, and this call is very important.
They came back really well, being able to find momentum from early, unclean volleyball. But also in the game, you can come back at any point. No lead is going to be too big for you to achieve and lose from. So yes, all the credit to Cornell being able to fight their way out of the early mistakes and clean up their play.
So Tim Veloso and Ronald Sparks, the referees, are discussing more or less what they should do here to rectify the situation on that last point. Cornell trying to beat Yale tonight for the first time since November of 2017. Let's watch it again. Yeah, I mean, that is not down.
That is not down, but what they could be looking at is, did it hit Aria Ju's platform before hitting her foot?
And they haven't looked at it yet. They were just talking and now discussing with Aaron Appleman, Tim Veloso. I guess part of the issue is Yale going to have to use a challenge or not here? And it looks like Yale did in fact challenge it.
Right, I think they're challenging if it was down, in, at the ground. But what they will see is that it hit Aria Ju's platform first, which will result in a double contact and still result in Cornell's point.
I guess part of the discussion was if the officials recognized that there was an inadvertent whistle, could they just go review it without a challenge? But at the end of the day, Yale ends up challenging it, and it seems like Cornell should keep the point, and it should stay 20-15, but we'll see. So they're actually going to reverse this call, and the end result's going to be a replay of the point. So all that works out for Yale.
I think what we saw there, what maybe the refs struggled figuring out was, what was that call? The up ref originally said it was down and that the ball did not reflect off of Ju's foot. And in that replay, we saw it clearly go off her foot, which is why they get to replay that point.
So the score's 20-14. Yale doesn't get a point. They just replay it, and then a service error. So Cornell does get it to 20-15. Kara Schultz is a tremendous server, leads Yale with 19 of them this year, and led the Ivy League in that category 2 seasons ago. So it's 20-15, and Konvika serves for Cornell. Good now, and that works out nicely for the Bulldogs.
That was a very clean set by Deal. She knew that pass was tighter than expected. And instead of going up to be aggressive, she could not because she's back row. But she still kept herself out of the net by facing the net and getting that out.
Yale is 4 points away from the first set. Mendoza finds the opening in the Cornell defense.
Mendoza is also that type of player where you're not as tall as other outside hitters, but you are smart and you are reading the block well.
So a timeout taken by Cornell. This is their second and final timeout of the opening set. Justin Galanti, Madison Mori, our entire outstanding crew. Glad you're with us from Lee Amphitheater here in New Haven. Aaron Appleman in that huddle with her group that's gotten off to another 3-0 start in Ivy League play. 8-3 overall, and after an 0-2 start to the season, Yale has won 8 out of 9, and back at home for the first time in nearly a month. First match at home since September 15th, and a great crowd here tonight to support the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it has been a while, and those preseason and then conference play, traveling can really keep you away from your home environment for a while. And I know that Yale is just excited to be home and not traveling back in their place.
Allie Sherlock will serve out of the timeout. Junior out of Fort Worth, Texas. Has already doubled the number of sets she's played this year than she had in her career before this year. Error there, though, and to be honest with you, Madison, 6 service errors is what's keeping in Cornell in this set at all.
It is. That is 6 free points. The score would be 22-9 right now if they did not have 6 serving serving errors. And so that's also a part of the game that Yale needs to clean up a bit is their service errors. They can be aggressive, but find a way to be aggressive and keep it in the court.
Joustin, it comes over on Yale's side. Betsy Goodnow into the block. That was Haley Clark and Mackenzie Parsons. And Cornell's back within 5.
That was a really clean block from Cornell, really using their hands to press over the net at the last minute, keeping that ball on Yale's side.
Tough serve there for Goodnow to handle. Goodnow into the block, but it lands in, I guess. No, they're going to overrule the call. They initially said Cornell point. Now they say Yale point. Seems like our two referees need a bonding session or something to get on the same page here.
A little meeting to just refresh.
Yeah. Baker is stuffed. Carly Deal, and Yale has set point.
I mean, she's just a fun player to watch. She's aggressive, she's offensive, but now she's defensive in the way that she really timed and reaches her hands back into the court. Just illustrates how perfectly that block was executed.
Haley Clark into the block again. Another chance for Cornell. Konficka kept up. Mendoza. Another chance for Yale. Mendoza again. Good extended rally here. Right in the middle. Pushed wide. And Yale takes the first set. It started with a 9-1 run. It finishes 25.
You can have these upsets, and once there is a big upset, it shifts the whole conference, and it messes up the rankings. It messes up the play. It's just fun because you never know what you're going to get, and conference play can easily be a very clean game, but it can also be a very back and forth. Who's taking the lead? No, I'm taking the lead, and go back and forth.
Well, Yale's hitting percentage was what really stands out from that first set. They hit .407 against Cornell, hitting just .115. I mean, that was a very impressive start to this match for the Bulldogs, wasn't it?
I mean, quite impressive. I was just laughing and so impressed with Goodnow's hitting percentage. She's hitting .833 right now. 5 kills on 6 total attempts, no errors. That is very clean volleyball. Same with Abraham. 3 kills on 4 attempts, hitting a .750. Right now, Yale is playing very clean with very little errors. The only errors we're seeing are service errors, and those can easily be fixed.
I would imagine if you're Trudy Vandenberg, the head coach for Cornell, the first talking point after that first set is we need to start better. I mean, falling behind 9-1 is not a recipe for success, obviously.
We need to start better. We also need to pick up our blocking. That's what we're best at. Let's utilize it.
Block helps them get the first point of the second set. Cornell's only losses this year, 4 of them, UC San Diego, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Syracuse, and Harvard last weekend. They have beaten the likes of Liberty, Navy, Valpo, Miami, Ohio, Binghamton, Lemoyne, Columbia, and Dartmouth. Bryan gets on the board there for Yale. Bryan played in 1 set all of last year. She's played in 21 this year, including the 2 tonight. And again, is the reigning Ivy League Offensive Player of the Week. That's an award, Madison, that Yale has taken home 3 weeks in a row. It was Goodnow, Abraham, and then Bryan.
And it's impressive to just illustrate that this range of offense, the diversity of this offense is so strong. And each hitter is allowed to have their opportunity to shine. They are given the same number of attempts. Deal does a great job making the offense very fun and entertaining.
Deal goes over on 2 that time. Kind of had to on an overpass. Cross court, and that is well wide from Jada Sione. We talked about the great job that Carly Deal does, last year's Ivy League Player of the Year. She was honored before the match today for reaching 3,000 career assists here at Yale.
Just insane and fun and impressive. That's all I have to say. She's an amazing player. very smart and knows how to run an offense. But reaching that milestone is just another level in collegiate volleyball that is quite impressive.
She came into tonight with 469 assists just this year in 11 matches. Her season high was 56 in a win in a 5-set match against Fairfield here back on September 14th. Yale trying to extend the nation's third longest active home winning streak tonight, only behind Nebraska and Stephen F. Austin. Overpass off the serve, and Cornell goes ahead 4-3 here in the second set. Yale has not lost at home to anybody since November of 2021. They have not lost any match against an Ivy League team since November of 2022. Service error against Convica. Back and forth we go. To establish that kind of dominance in a conference is sort of hard to imagine, but Yale, the last 2 years, 27-1 in the Ivy League and 3-0 to start this year. Just remarkable.
It's amazing to see what Appleman has done with her team. Not only has she created this dynasty of winning and legacy within Yale, but she's also created these types of players to rely on one another when someone isn't performing. They're able to come in and help their team. It's not a battle. It is a chemistry that is unbreakable in allowing this Yale volleyball team to be amazing.
Field goes over, and that is fantastic.
She's smart, she's clean, she knows when to read the block. She knew that Cornell was not going to pick up, that she was running behind and she was not going to get a great set. They thought she was going to chuck that ball up, but she's a smart player.
She's doing that. I mean, she always does that, but a little more tonight. That's already 5 times she's been credited with an attack in this match. That is too long from Convica, and Yale needs 6-5. Not to overstate things, Madison, but when you talk about these streaks that Yale has, it's at the point where if you're an opponent, it's hard to honestly create belief coming into a match that you can actually win.
Of course, it's going to be difficult because you see the wins, the fun, the glory, the this, the that. But as soon as you step foot onto the court, no game is going to determine itself without an actual match being played. So all these teams coming in, yes, they can look at the awards, the winning streaks, the wins, the record, but they have to remember that this is a game they are able to compete and win.
An ace there for Hallie Sherlock, her 9th of the season. And Yale leads 8-5 in the second set after winning the first 25-17. Sherlock goes down the line. That was tough to handle. Megan Gaffigan's swing. Schultz the dig. Mila Yarich tools the block. And Yale is even more dynamic now that she is back. Missed non-conference play, but a first-team All-Ivy Leaguer last year, back healthy and looking good for the Bulldogs. Timeout taken by Cornell, so we'll hit a break. They have won 23 matches in a row against Ivy League opponents. The reason we phrase it that way is that 4 of those wins come in conference tournaments, so that doesn't count for your conference record, but any match against a team in the Ivy League, Yale's won 23 in a row, and Hallie Sherlock is having a very nice service run here, a second ace there.
She is. That serve was so clean, and that another miscommunication. Give her 2 service errors. The way she is attacking right down the line at that outside hitter, she is taking away their opportunity to get a nice approach and swing to the ball, and it's a very smart technique that she is using right now, and it is working.
Megan Gaffigan, and she stops the Yale run. One thing that we were chatting about pre-match, when you watch Cornell, you felt like sometimes when things don't go well, it can spiral on them a little bit. How do you turn that around as a team? Because, when you play some of the top teams in the league, there will be adverse moments, and you have to be able to respond well to them.
As a team, you have to be able to adapt quickly. So if things are not going your way, or they're not clicking the way you wanted it to, or say the scout did not go the way you are trying to execute it, you have to be able to make changes and be open to adapting in the middle of a match. And right now, that's what we need to see. We need to see these quick changes from Cornell's side of the match, because they are in it, but they have to adapt. They have to make the change in order to stay competing.
Ace there for Betsy Goodnow. That is 6 aces for Yale tonight, 4 already in the set. So serve receive has become a big problem for Cornell.
And Yale is just serving very well. You can see behind the line, they're really attacking certain passers, but their serves are dropping right in front of the passer line, which is working really well.
Liza Konvicka with a big swing there. She has 4 kills, but also 4 errors. It's 13-7 here in set 2. Doa Ozalp, the junior from Turkey, to serve. Ozalp with 2 consecutive double-doubles, had 43 assists and 12 digs in Cornell's last match against Harvard. Cornell called in the net there. Yale earns a 14th point in the set.
Once again, we're seeing the errors coming from Cornell's side. They need to make the adjustment. They need to clean up the errors so they are not getting into these big runs. And here you see we have another ace. It's just clean volleyball we are getting from Yale, but miscommunication we are seeing in Cornell.
Ila Jaric gets the ace there, just able to keep it inside the line. Jaric again goes to that same spot. Cornell just has to put a free ball over. Peyton Bryan into the block. Deal put it back up. Deal tries to keep it up again, but couldn't do it that time.
You have to love a setter or everyone that can do it all. Everyone was in there covering Bryan in that moment when those sets were a little too tight. They were all there. They had her back, and Deal was there one after another. That's what you need to have from a team. You can't just have one person covering. You have to have everyone there under and ready to get a side out from that ball.
Maria Jew for Goodnow, who just has to put it over. 6 kills for Goodnow tonight to lead all players, and there's one in the middle for Cameron Carlo.
Carlo right now already hitting a 500. 2 for 4 attempts, now about to be 3 for 5. Very clean game, but Cornell needs to find a way to keep her being involved so they are able to stay in this match.
Bryan put it over on the Cornell side. Konvicka through the Yale block. Jew kept it up, but it's put down by Jada Sione. It's 15-10. You mentioned Carlo as the top blocker in the Ivy League. She had 11 blocks in the win against Dartmouth a couple weekends ago. There's Peyton Bryan. She missed a little long, so maybe a little bit of momentum for the Big Red.
Yeah, Cornell really needs to capitalize on this type of momentum and really build off of it to get themselves back in this set.
Timeout taken by Aaron Appleman. Cornell within 4 in the second set. In Yale's first couple Ivy League matches, they've had a sweep and 2 4-setters. And tonight up 1-0. We always talk about this in the Ivy League, where you're playing more often than not back-to-back days. That, look, it's not like teams don't want to sweep, everybody wants to, but it is very valuable in this league to get sweeps when you can, because you're quite often playing Friday night and then a little bit earlier in the day on Saturday. So the less energy you can expend Friday night, the more it should help you Saturday.
Right, back-to-back can be a little bit tricky depending on how the match goes from the night before. So obviously teams are coming in trying to capitalize on that win, but also do it in the right way and win at the level they can. And that's what we need to see more of. We need to see more of these sweeps because these teams are capable of it, but instead some games are getting dragged out because of errors and unclean volleyball. And right now we want to see more sweeps. And so for Yale to get one tonight, that would be exciting to watch, but they also are doing it because they play tomorrow, like you said earlier.
Yale will host Columbia tomorrow. Cornell will be up the road at Brown. Bryant finds the soft spot. And Peyton Bryant, the reigning Ivy League Player of the Week, has a big smile on her face after that one.
Right. She's all smiles. She was a little early on that swing, which I will give her full long extension because of her height. But she's all smiles, and she's having fun out there.
6'3" sophomore from Florida. Service error there on Yale's captain, Bella Chan. Barr will come in for her, and it'll actually be Aria Ju to come in for her. Barr came over like she was going to come in. This is Trinity Tien serving for Cornell. Over on 2, Deal. Cornell keeps it up. That is off the tape. Bryan keeps the point alive. Ju puts it over. And it's put away in the middle. Mackenzie Parsons makes it 16-13.
Cornell needs to keep their middles involved. I know I said that with Carlo, but also with Parsons. She also had an amazing last match. And right now, they have to find a way to keep their middles being as aggressive as they can.
Abraham, one of the Yale middles, makes it 17-13. Look at Abraham and Parsons both came into this match hitting 400 or better this year, and that's a first year and a sophomore.
And then you want to give credit to all of your upperclassmen who are allowing these younger players to come in with a ton of confidence and really thrive in the collegiate level.
Vicka to serve. She's been in the top 6 in the Ivy League in kills 2 years in a row, and she has an ace. Liza Vicka helping keep Cornell in the second set. That's just the second ace of the night for Cornell, a team that averages the most aces percent in the league. That's the error. 18-15 now. Couple things you felt like Cornell would have to do tonight. Block well and serve well. It blocked okay. The serve hasn't been poor, but it hasn't had the impact they would have wanted it to, at least to this point.
I think that also comes from both sides. We have not seen very clean serving. We've seen aces and aggressive, tough serves, but right now, a ton of errors from both sides. And I know they want to go back there and be aggressive, but they also have to clean up the tough serving they are putting in. They need to find the seams, and they need to be able to deliver a tough ball, but keep it in.
Betsy Goodnow gets stumped. And for the first time since it was 1-0, Cornell's within a point.
And that's the block that we want to see from Cornell. It's aggressive, it's up there, they're early, they're committed, they're pressed, and it goes straight down.
Yarich kept up by Trinity Tien. On Vicka from the back row. Yale's called in the net, and we're tied at 18. Erin Appleman with a let's go to her team, but no timeout here. She's already used one. Both coaches have. Jackie Baker serving. Schultz from the back row. That is wide, and Cornell leads 19-18. A 4-0 run here, Madison, for the Big Red.
Cornell has picked up a ton of momentum on a great serving run that is causing chaos on Yale's side. Very aggressive serving. And they are doing a good job building off of the momentum.
Abraham stops the run.
A really clean swing from Abraham. Only catches one block, is able to put that ball straight down.
Allie Sherlock serving. That's wide from Parsons. Yale goes back ahead. These sophomores for Yale tonight, Abraham and Goodnow, have combined for 11 kills against only one error. And now Trudy Vandenberg takes her second and final timeout of the set for the Big Red. And it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to tell you that when you're down 1-0, winning the second set is vital. Cornell's right in it right now. Can they close is the question.
They are in it, and they have momentum. Both teams right now have momentum. But right now, Yale has Sherlock behind the line. She's been lethal behind that service line, had 2 in a row aces, has been very fun delivering a tough serve, and that's what they need right now. They need a tough server, but also clean, consistent server for them. And I think Sherlock can help them close that set.
Just joining us, Yale won the first set 25-17. The Bulldogs are 8-3, 3-0 in the Ivy League, one of 2 3-0 teams in the league. Cornell is 8-4, 2-1 in the Ancient Eight. The 8 wins this season are already their most in a season since 2019, when Cornell won 17 matches. At the moment, Cornell is actually out-hitting Yale in this set, 250-200, after Yale hit 407 against Cornell's 115 in the first set. Sherlock serving. Big cross-court swing and a huge kill from Megan Gaffigan, the junior from Chesterton, Indiana.
It was a really nice angle Gaffigan found. She saw the blockers were really inside, which opened up that sharp cross shot, and she allowed herself to approach in that way where she could be successful hitting that ball.
Yarich, kept up by Baker. Another chance for Yale here. Over on 2 from Deal, and she does it again. Third time that has been executed perfectly by the Yale Senior Center.
We talked about Deal being a little more aggressive tonight. Right now, she's actually hitting or attacking at 500, which is pretty high for a setter. She's allowed herself to be very crafty and give herself the attempt she needs.
Contact call against Cornell, and now Yale is 3 points away from a 2-0 lead. Just to finish on Deal, she came into the night with 49 kills, so it's not unusual for her to do this, but it's a more aggressive version of what she normally does this evening.
Right. She's very smart with her dumps, and I think she does a really good job reading when is the right time for me to send it over on the second contact. And I think tonight she's had a lot of right times. She's really utilized the blockers, utilized herself, her eyes, and has really capitalized on them.
See, Goodnow to serve here. And Amelia Yarich sets up set point for Yale.
I like that read by Yarich. She knew that ball was coming over second contact, which is why she committed with the setter.
Goodnow serving for the set. Kept alive by Gaffigan, 24-21. Betsy Goodnow has had such a fantastic year. 6 double-doubles already. Could be on her way to 1 tonight with 6 kills and 4 digs. For now, it's Ozalt trying to keep the set alive. Yarich right into the block. Cornell was ready for that.
Cornell was ready for that. I mean, you have Carlo front row. She's waiting. She's hungry. She wants these blocks. She wants to add up on her stats, and she is a smart blocker, knows when to wait, knows when to commit with that hitter.
So after that point for the Big Red, Yale takes its second timeout. Still sitting on set point here, 24-22 is the lead. It's been kind of an interesting night, right? I mean, in both sets, Yale jumped out to such a quick lead that even though Cornell has stayed in both sets and actually took a brief lead here in the second set, just feels like things have gone by very quickly.
I think it has gone by very quickly. There's been big leads in the beginning, but then teams are coming. Cornell's coming back at the very end of the set because of the errors that both teams are racking up on. And those are the type of errors that can be momentum killers. And so just to make it a little bit cleaner, limiting the errors and being smarter with shots and with serves and being able to keep that ball in, that will allow the Yale dominant team to take over. But it is also allowing Cornell to still compete and stay in this match.
Noah Olzol still serving. Yale looking for that commanding lead. Yale sets GG bar, and Yale does. The 2 sets do not lead. 25-20. Head to Providence and play Brown. But Madison, after a pretty dominant first set for Yale, second set very competitive. Cornell came back and took a late lead, 20-19, but Yale closed it out very well.
It's just because of the leads Yale is getting at the very beginning of the sets. They are doing a good job behind the service line, allowing themselves to get on these types of runs and get these leads, which, like you said, Cornell tends to struggle with trying to get back into it and crawl their way back into it because Yale carries so much momentum and they're easier to build off of it. And right now we need to see Cornell shut down these leads quickly.
So far in the match, Yale is hitting 308, Cornell 130. If the Big Red are going to extend this night past the third set, that has to change. Liarch serving to start the third, and that's right into the net from Cameron Carlo. Wasn't the best set for her there.
Wasn't the best set, but there's a way to handle that. As a hitter, you have to remember you're not going to get the perfect sets every single time the ball is delivered to you, but you have to be able to adjust to what is given to you and get that ball over to keep it in play.
Sione tries to go cross court. Aria Ju has the dig. Peyton Bryan just flips it over. Good now. Off the overpass, another chance, and point goes to Yale. One thing that's always kind of a hallmark of Yale is you take another look at this last violation against Cornell. Yale's so deep, they have so many different options, and sometimes that manifests itself in the way of having 3 different players win 3 consecutive Ivy League Player of the Week awards. Or sometimes it manifests itself the way it has tonight, where nobody, if you look up and down the stat sheet, has really gaudy numbers in this match. It's just a bunch of different players that have contributed, right? Goodnow has 6 kills, Abraham 5, 4 for Bryan, 3 for Deal, 3 for Barr. It's just everybody chipping in.
Everyone chipping in, and it's an even offense, which makes it that much more to defend, because not only is it clean volleyball, but all hitters are hitting at a very high level right now.
That was pretty cool from Carly Deal. We saw her doing that in warm-ups, and you said that's pretty cool, and she did it now in the match.
It's always hard to defend. I remember my times being a pro. Defending the setter dump is difficult because they can take it anywhere, and Deal is smart with what she does.
It's only been 5 points, but seems like Yale is trying to throw a very quick knockout punch in the third set here. GG Barr serving. Cornell stopped the run. Konvicka does just that.
Konvicka does not want this match to end this way. She is bringing a spark of energy to her team, and you can see that with every swing she takes. There is a load of power behind them, and she is trying to fire up this Cornell team to bring this to another set.
Peyton Bryan into the net. Cornell has a couple of points in a row here. Convicum leads the Big Red with 6 kills in this match, and 3 block assists for her as well. Vicka misses long. It's 5-3. 1 ace, 4 errors for Cornell serving tonight. 7 aces, 10 errors for Yale in this match.
I talked a little bit about the errors. We've seen a ton of service errors, and I know these girls have tons of power behind what they're doing. They're very smart with trying to be as aggressive as they can, but they also can take some of the speed off of it and find the open seams in between passers, which will do just as much chaos.
(6-3) for the Bulldogs. Kenzie Parsons has her 4th kill. She is certainly going to be in the running to be the Ivy League's Rookie of the Year. She has 10 kills this year, at least in 8 matches, 6 in a row. Had 18 kills against 3 errors and hit 500 against Harvard last weekend.
Yeah, she's been a fun player to watch. And then I want to give credit to her team, who some of these girls have been playing. They are seniors. They are leading this team, but they have allowed her to come in with confidence, but grow as a player. And you can see that each match she is just finding ways to grow her game and get better.
It's a good mix of youth and experience on the Cornell roster. They have 11 first years and sophomores, 10 juniors and seniors. No class is bigger than 6. No class is smaller than 5. Parsons in the middle. Abraham got her hands to it. Betsy good now. Another chance for the Big Red. Parsons again. And she's starting to heat up here in the 3rd set.
Cornell has kept feeding her the ball. Both middles right now are playing at a high level, and they're allowing Cornell to stay in this match. But they have to find a way to keep their passes and defensive touches on the net so these middles can stay involved.
Abraham continues to dominate. 8 kills, and she is hitting better than 900 in this match.
Very clean volleyball, but she's also hit that way every single time because it's been open, and Cornell has yet to make an adjustment. And why not stop hitting that way? She's doing a great job finding that angle and keeping it open for herself.
Yarich kept alive by Konvicka there and put down by Gaffigan to make it 8-6. (25-17, 25-22). The finals in the first 2 sets. Doa Ozalt serving. Good now, off the block, kept up by Ozalt. Another chance for Gaffigan, and she stumps. Good now, and Gigi Barr.
I mean, they were really connected on that block. They jumped at the same time. Their hands were brick walls. That ball was going nowhere.
So Yale has hung with Cornell in the blocking category. 5 total for the Big Red, 4 for Yale. Cornell needed that to be a huge advantage in their favor tonight, and it hasn't been. Gigi Barr makes it 10-6.
We haven't said Barr's name as much this match, but she still makes her presence known on the court. She's such a fun player to watch. Energy, facial expressions. She brings a ton of fun to this Yale offense and to this team while she's on the court. She's very confident. She knows what she's doing, but she lights a fire of energy. And she is that spark on the court, whether it's volleyball related or not.
Betsy Goodnow serving. It's 11-6. Goodnow has one of Yale's 7 aces tonight. Konvicka kept up by Aria Ju. Deal just kind of punched it over with her left hand, and it works. Timeout taken by Cornell, the undefeated team in the Ivy League. They'd be 4-0. Princeton's up 2 sets to none on Harvard, who came into the night 3-0. So Yale would have the upper hand, still early on, but have the upper hand at hosting the Ivy League tournament for a 3rd straight year.
Right, and they would just extend to the 3rd longest winning streak, which overall is just very impressive, and just a legacy that Appleman has built. I can't stop thinking about it when we talk about it. It's just fun and impressive, and so much work thrown into this program, which has allowed them to be as successful as they are.
Deal for Gigi Barr, and Cornell is called in the net. So it's 14-6. I think that's a really good point you make, right? Yale is trying to extend its home win streak to 28, its win streak against Ivy opponents to 24. You would think that would create pressure. And if you watch them play, it doesn't seem like they feel any burden of pressure.
It's not pressure. It looks like they're just having so much fun with one another. And pressure can easily be added from that standpoint, but I think what Appleman has done a great job of is she has allowed the players to really dive into this winning culture where they have been able to rely on one another rather than just the wins and the losses. And it's more than just the wins and the losses. I think everyone knows that about a sports game. And that's what I love what Appleman has done for this team.
Cornell trying to show some late fight here. Deal dumps it over again, and that is kill number 6 for Carly Deal tonight.
She's been unstoppable. She reads the block really well. She knows when to do it. She's just unstoppable, and she knows it's going to work, and it's fun to watch her be successful with this set or dump.
Yarich serving. Deal pops it over, handled there by Megan Bickle. Right in the middle, that's put away by Cameron Carlo. Good swing from the senior out of Tampa. I'm going to tell you something here that I found funny. We'll see if you find it funny. Audrey Leak, who graduated last year from Yale, tremendous player, multi-time All-Ivy League selection. I saw her just walk in, just got here. It doesn't seem like she's going to get to see very much of this match.
Yeah, she may not.
I was just thinking to myself, it feels like we just got here and Yale's 10 points away from already ending the match.
Hey, maybe she'll be here tomorrow and she'll get to catch
a little more.
Another match.
Konficka, that hit the antenna. I think there are a lot of things that Aaron Appleman is going to be happy with at the end of this night. The team, by the way, is hitting 500 in this set after hitting 407 in the first set. But it just felt to me like Yale came out with a ton of energy right away, and that has not lapsed at any point.
It has not. They've really built on the energy brought, the effort brought, and these high-level plays that they are making. They've really built off of the plays, which has allowed them to build the momentum throughout this match. And it has been a great environment for them to be in, but it also has been so fun to watch.
Crowd always shows up here at Lee Amphitheater to support the Bulldogs. Good way to blow off some steam on Friday night after a week of Ivy League level classes, right?
Right.
Service error there against the Big Red. They're 5th of the night against just one ace. Cornell averages 1.9 service aces per set. That was 36th in the country entering the night, and they have 1 in total this evening. Parsons in the middle. He's had a good set, now up to 6 kills for the night. Cornell needs a big run here, or else this match won't last past the 3rd set.
And last set, Baker was able to get them on some sort of run, adding a couple points and getting her team back in this. They really need to capitalize on her serve.
Gaff again, kept up by Yarich. Hayden Bryant. Play by Cornell to keep that going. Gaffigan again. Extended rally here. In the middle, Parsons, Steele with the dig. Bryant has to just put it over. Gaffigan again into Abraham. Convic, she missed long, and Lee Amphitheater erupts.
You can tell the crowd was having fun with that play. Every dig, lots of boos, lots of ahs, lots of excitement in this amphitheater right now.
And an ace. Kara Schultz off the tape and down, and Cornell takes its last time out.
I think she just thanked herself for that. Nice clip of the tape. She thanked herself that happened and was thankful it did not hit that net.
Arms up. As this has been a really good night for Yale. Not only have they played fantastic and it looks like they'll sweep, but as we touched on earlier, they will be able to go into tomorrow against Columbia not feeling like they were pushed all that hard this evening.
Right. They've handled business really well tonight. They came in very prepared, really executed their scout, the level of play they wanted to bring tonight, and it's going to allow them to carry it into tomorrow's match as well.
Yale just 6 points away from extending the home win streak to 28, the Ivy win streak to 24. I think people would expect Nebraska to have the longest home win streak in the country, but those Lumberjacks from Stephen F. Austin, how about that? Kara Schultz still serving. Gaffigan goes cross court and misses wide.
I like the thought behind that shot. She only had one blocker up. She knew that sharp cross shot was working earlier, and it just put a little too much.
The back row, Convic is stuffed. Reese Abraham denies it.
And it just seems that Yale has all this momentum right now. They're really building off of Schultz's serve, and they're capitalizing on the block and shutting down Cornell.
Brooke Cooper, number 1, is in for Cornell. Good now, tools the block, and Yale is looking like a runaway train at the moment. It's been barely more than an hour since this match started, and Yale's 3 points away from ending it. Abraham, 9 kills, no errors in 11 total attacks for the sophomore from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
It's a very clean game Abraham has played tonight, hitting an 8-18 right now. Just impressive in a 3-set match for a middle blocker.
Good now. Match point. As we said, it's been almost 20 years since Cornell has won in this building. It looks like the Big Red are going to have to wait at least one more year. Kara Schultz trying to end the night. Crowd on its feet. We'll play at least one more point as Mackenzie Parsons ties Convica for the team lead with 7 kills. Now Parsons will serve. Deal for good now, and she is stumped. Cameron Carlo, the Ivy League's leading blocker, got her hands on that.
It was almost as if Cornell was doing this in earlier points Right now, obviously, it's not over, but we needed to see this earlier to get this type of response.
Mila Jaric missed wide. So Cornell has staved off 3 match points in a row. Crowd still standing, waiting to erupt when Yale secures the win. Jaric, and Yale wins it 25-13. A quick and tidy sweep of Cornell.
A quick, easy match we've seen from Yale tonight. Very clean volleyball, and it was a great game to watch.
25-17.
In most of the matches of her season, that's where her hitting percentage has been. And she has been fun to watch, being super aggressive, but also knowing when to be a smart middle blocker.
Match, which is awesome. Actually lowered her percentage for the season.
Yeah, it does. And that's what it does. You have these matches where you do.
Okay, Yale handles it though. Stella Mendoza was a bit out of rhythm. Cornell goes to the middle and Mackenzie Parsons swing. Jackie Baker serving for the Big Red. Deal sets it up for Betsy. Good now. The sophomore puts it. Go cross court. Aria Chu kept it up. Is off the tip, and Mackenzie Parsons, the fresh Parsons again off the block. Good now, puts it away. Betsy Good now continues.
Her to be so confident and allow herself to grow. It's truly just so fun to watch.
Gigi Barr in the middle, one of those. Clark again, right to Good now. Should be a good chance for Yale. Hayden Bryan, the reigning Ivy League player of the week.
She's really focused on keeping that third contact in the court and being able to handle that.
An assist per set, 9th in service aces per set. It's a very good serving Cornell team and a great blocking point. Aria Chu for Good now. There is kill number 4. Abraham in the middle. Cornell gets hands to that swing, sets up Konvicka, and Eliza Konvicka.
Go with their difficult, tough serves. But you're right, we have not seen as many aces, but they still have been extremely productive with their difficult, tough serves. But you're right, we have not seen as many aces, but they still have been extremely productive.
Good now. And that works out nicely for the Bulldogs.
So the very clean.
4 points away from the first set. Mendoza finds the opening in the Cornell defense.
In the court.
Joust, and it comes over on Yale's side. Betsy Good now into the block. Baker is stopped. Baker is stopped. It's for Yale. Mendoza again. Good extended rally here. Right in the middle, pushed wide. And Yale takes the first set. It started with a 9-1. The likes of Liberty, Navy, Valpo, Miami, Ohio, Binghamton, Lemoyne, Columbia, and Dartmouth. Was taken home 3 weeks in a row. It was Good now, Abraham, and then Bryan.
And it's impressive to it's amazing to see what Appleman has done with her team. Not only has she created amazing.
Deal goes over, and that is fantastic. Goes down the line. That was tough to handle. Megan Gaffigan's swing. Schultz the dig. Mila Jaric tools the block. And Yale is even more dynamic now that she is back. Missed non-conference play, but a first-team All-Ivy Leaguer last year, back healthy and looking good for the Bulldogs. Timeout taken by Cornell. So 3 matches in a row against Ivy League opponents. The reason we phrase it that way is that 4 of those wins come in conference tournaments. Having a very nice service run here, a second ace there.
She is. That serve was so Clean, and that another miscommunication. Changes and be open to adapting in the middle of a match. And right now, that's what we need to see. We need to see these be behind the line. They're really attacking certain passers, but their serves are dropping right in front of the passer line, which is working really. They need to make the adjustment. They need to clean up the errors so they are not getting into these big runs. And here you see
Peyton Bryan into the block. Deal put it back up. Deal tries to keep it up again. Maria Ju for Goodnow, who just has to put it over. 6 kills for Goodnow tonight to lead all players. Put it over on the Cornell side. Konvicka through the Yale block. Ju kept it up, but it's put down by Jada.
tomorrow, like you said earlier.
Yale will host Columbia tomorrow. Cornell will be up the road at Brown. Bryan up. That is off the tape. Bryan keeps the point alive. Ju puts it over. And it's put away in the middle.
Last match, and right now they have to find a way to keep their middles being as aggressive as they can.
Abraham, one of the Yale. She's been in the top 6 in the Ivy League in kills 2 years in a row, and she has an ace.
The tough serving they're putting in, they need to find the seams, and they need to be able to deliver a tough ball, but keep it in.
That's Goodnow.
On Yale's side, very aggressive serving, and they are doing a good job building off of the momentum.
Abraham's first set. Sherlock serving. Big cross-court swing and a huge kill first set. Sherlock serving. Big cross-court swing and a huge kill. That's Goodnow to serve here. And Amelia Yarich trying to keep the set alive. Yarich right into the block. Cornell, looking for that commanding lead. Yale sets GG bar, and Yale does. The 2 sets to none lead. Yale looking for that commanding lead. Yale sets GG bar, and Yale does. The 2 sets to none lead. Players win 3 consecutive Ivy League Player of the Week awards, or sometimes it manifests itself the way it has tonight.
Everyone chipping in, and it's an even offense, which makes it that much more to defend. It's hard to defend. I remember my times being a pro. Defending the setter dump is difficult because they can take it anywhere and deal.
Cornell stopped the run. Konvicka does just that.
Konvicka does.
Parsons. Kenzie Parsons has her 4th kill.
To watch. And then I want to give credit to her team, who some of these girls have been playing. They are seniors. They are leading this.
Betsy Goodnow. Another chance for the Big Red. Parsons again. And she's starting to heat up here in the
passes and defensive touches on the net so these middles can stay involved.
Abraham continues to dominate. 8 kills.
Leaving it open for herself.
Yarich kept alive by Konvicka there and put down by Goodnow off the block, kept up by Ozalt. Another chance for Gaffigan, and she stopped for the Big Red. 4 for Yale. Cornell needed that to be a huge advantage in their favor tonight, and it hasn't been. 7 aces tonight. Konvicka kept up by Aria Ju. Deal just kind of punched it over with it. It doesn't seem like they feel any burden of pressure.
It's not pressure. It looks like they're just having so much fun with one another. Appleman has done for this team.
Cornell trying to show some late fight here. Deal dumps it over again. Deal pops it over, handled there by Megan Bickle. Right in the middle, that's put away by Cameron Carlo. Good swing. Pumps.
You can tell the crowd was having fun with that play. Every dig in this amphitheater right now.
And an ace. The back row, Konvicka is stopped. This match started, and Yale's 3 points away from ending it. Abraham, 9 kills.
Match for a middle blocker.
Good now. Yarich, and Yale wins it 25-13. A quick and tidy sweep of Cornell.
A quick, easy match we've seen from
Yarich, and Yale wins it 25-13. A quick and tidy sweep of Cornell.